As an activewear brand, how do you determine what your next market is? Let's just say you've been in the market for around 2 years, 3 years. You're selling traditional activewear, but somewhere along the line, you notice that there are product synergies of new categories that you want to get into, but you're wondering, does it really make sense for me to add footwear to my collection? So in this episode, I'm going to give you the framework that I've used working with multi-million-dollar brands over the last 8 years in the sportswear industry to help them determine which markets they should move into. So let's look at step number 1. Does your brand identity align with the new market segment that you're going into? You're offering premium products, but you're moving into a brand segment that typically focuses and favors a lower quality, lower cost of entry products, then it might not make sense. At the same time, do you currently have the manufacturing and the sourcing capability to be able to seamlessly jump into this new product category or this new market segment? If you have a very wide new idea of adding backpacks and accessories to your product range, your current production capacity doesn't allow for that because you don't have the relationships, you don't have the understanding of the fabrics, you don't have the full supply chain. That might not be a suitable immediate step for you. Perhaps that's something that needs a little bit more time. And do your customers currently trust you enough? So if you just launched your brand and you're brand new and all of a sudden you immediately switch gears, you go into a different market and you expect your current customer avatar to immediately trust you, that may be a tough ask because you haven't built up that reputation of being able to execute on great quality products. Step number 2 is you need to identify clear potential market opportunities. And there are 4 key categories of checkboxes that you need to look at when moving into this. Number 1, you need to see, does it complement your current product range? If you're a brand that offers, let's just say Pilates wear, and you offer something that is completely unrelated, that may not even make sense for your core consumer, it's not going to add value to your current product range. It's not going to make sense for your current customer. There's no point. You're essentially splitting your focus into 2. The second criteria is this current market segment that you're trying to get into large? And is it continuously growing in terms of its market cap year on year? Number 3, how is the competition in the current market segment? Is it oversaturated or are there room for improvement? If the market segment is large and it's growing, just because a market segment is oversaturated doesn't mean that everyone in that market segment is doing it well. A lot of the brands in that market segment might just be noise. You have the opportunity to come in there to focus on key flaws in the product range that customers or your competitors are offering and improve on that. Number 4 is, do customers actually want this type of product from you? You might be able to attract a new customer segment, but at the same time, you are diluting your brand and you're diverting your attention in terms of how you position your brand in the market into 2. You essentially end up with 2 smaller, less effective product ranges as opposed to, that's the challenge of picking the right market segments. Now it's time to write down what the core metrics that help you to determine if a market is a viable market to get into. And the first metric that you might have heard is what we consider as the TAM, which is the total addressable market. In 2025, what is the total addressable market for the Pilates activewear market? That can give you a sense of what the potential of that market segment is. And if that TAM is too small, then again, as much effort as you put into, the potential for return is diminished, just simply because there's not enough people to actually want to buy that product range from you. Second is, what's your CAC, or what's your customer acquisition cost? If you're currently used to a lower CAC, let's just say $20 to $30 to get a new customer through the door, but you plan on going into a new market segment where the cost to actually get a customer to purchase is much higher because you might have to spend more time educating the customer on the benefits of the product, then you're going to find a big difficulty in balancing your existing product range with the new product range, and you'll always find yourself reverting back to the original product range simply because your CAC is better, you're getting better metrics on it. It doesn't mean that this new product range or this new market opportunity is not for you. It just means that there's no synergy there with what you're already doing. A great market segment is one where your CAC stays relatively low because what you've already done actually helps you to bring that CAC lower. You've already built the brand awareness. You've already built the education foundation of why a customer needs to purchase from you. You're not having to do all of that from scratch and spend double or triple the money that you're currently spending to get a customer through the door for the first time. Next, you need to determine what your potential profit margins are going to be, because some market segments don't make sense to get into simply because of how low the profit margins are. Let's just say that you get into a market segment where the margins because of the competition are gone or are dropped artificially low because of the competition. You simply cannot price at a higher level because that product is seen as a commodity and it's immediately compared and contrasted with other brands. Now, let's look at existing examples of brands that have started in one place and actually expanded into new markets and they've had great success. Gymshark is a great example of that. They're your traditional gymwear brand. They've been very meticulous about what kind of products they add in, as long as it fits their criteria of the fact that they're a gymwear brand and they have their specific customer avatar in mind. They know what their customer avatar does, what products they respond to, what segments that they go for, what other brands they purchase from. So they went from gymwear and they began to offer accessories such as underwear, caps, and they began to offer things like resistant bands, basic things that you would actually wear in the gym, that you would take to the gym, that you would use in the gym. But Gymshark doesn't offer Pilates silicone grip socks, for example. I use that example because it's a very specific Pilates item. Most of the Gymshark customers might do Pilates, or they don't do Pilates, but a small subset might do Pilates. But it's not large enough for Gymshark for it to make sense for them to offer in these ancillary products that, though are fitness related, are not Gymshark focused. Number 2 is Lululemon. Lululemon has been known for being the world's best technical athleisure brand. They of course first started in the yoga space and they expanded that into what is known as technical athleisure. That's been Chip Wilson's grand focus over the years. When they moved into footwear, they did so methodically. They didn't go in gung-ho. They don't have all of the different types of shoes that Nike might offer. They're not a shoewear brand at the end of the day, but they did focus on making the best quality pair of athleisure technical shoes. What this means is that moving into new markets can either make you or it can break you. And let me know in the comments below if you have had this issue before. What's been the biggest challenge of determining what market that you want to move into, and what's that experience been like? If you want my personal opinion in terms of how your brand can scale to the next level, what market should you potentially consider getting into, or if you have a market that you're considering, then you can check the link in the description. I offer one-on-one consultation calls every single week. My slots are limited, but if you do want to book that call, I'd be more than happy to do so. I say this, guys, from the very bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Fittdesign TV. Until next week's episode, stay awesome.